All right. So there are a lot of different kinds of men. Some are easygoing, cheerful, always smiling. Other ones that seem more grumpy, remind you of like the old guy, get off my lawn kind of guy. So every sort of gentleman can be a Christian, and there are aspects to your maleness, to your masculinity, that are given to you by God at birth. And your general character develops over time, but also is innate as a part of who you are. So biologically, you're going to be inclined a certain way. Your soul is going to be having certain characteristics that amplify over time or shrink back over time, depending on the decisions you make. Things like that. So if you're an easygoing man, you'd be less prone to confrontation. You'd be more likely to take a slight without insult. Things like this. If you're really uptight kind of person, well then the slightest insult becomes an injury, and you're more likely to be confrontational. So you have to temper yourself, whatever you've been given, whatever you find yourself to be, temper yourself. And that's what we do as Christians. We transform ourselves completely. Not us, obviously, God does that, but you have to be the human component, and He has to be the divine component, because we can't change without His help, and He is the reason for our change. So we choose to amplify our better characteristics that we are born with, that we innately have, and to subdue those negative characteristics. So if you find yourself to be a certain man of a certain type, and you say, well, I ought to be like those other men over there. But then, over there. But then you decide later on, well, I ought to be maybe more like these other men over here. Okay? What you're doing wrong is you aren't considering who God made you to be. And having examples in your life is very important. Having strong male role models is very beneficial. Having awareness of negative examples of manhood is also useful. Now, what you want to do is to think and consider who He made you to be, because you are a certain kind of man, and He made you to be that way. All right. So, cutting to it, some men find themselves not easygoing enough. Others find themselves not hardcore enough. Okay, you don't need to be any certain way. So God made me with certain characteristics, some negative, some positive, and He made me ultimately the same way He made every man, to overcome the negative and to amplify the positive with His guidance and His help only. Other men help us to do that. So as iron sharpens iron doesn't just mean theologically, or your understanding of Scripture, or your morals. It does also mean how you are as a man, who you are as a man, will be amplified and made better through the presence of other men. Because other men will temper you the way you seek to temper yourself with God's help. It's the best way to be. We are meant to have a group. I've said it before. We're meant to have a group. It's unnatural not to. However, we live in a time where having a group can be very difficult, and even to the point of the group that you find yourself in might not be that great or even beneficial to you. Okay? So, be open to criticism. Be open to self-reflection, which you should be doing all the time. You should be doing that all the time. There is no other way to be. Self-reflect. When you encounter a problem in your life, look at you and say, did I do this to me? Because more than likely the answer is yes, you did. Yes, you did. You put yourself in this situation because of your actions or your inactions. And there's some part of your character that most likely led you to that action. Okay, that needs to be changed. All right. Well, it's a short one. But be thankful for whoever God made you to be, because you were made to fill a place in his kingdom through being who he made you to be. And every person is different. Every one of us has a soul that is unique and cannot be replicated. We are you are who you choose to be. Now choose. Okay, let's not freak out here. Reference. So when you're thinking about yourself and how you are, and you're reflecting, thinking what part of me is best, what part of me is worst, seek me, God, know my heart, or seek me out, you know what I mean. He will actively temper you through your life, through trial or guidance, and he will actively encourage you through your life so that you have the will and the strength to change. That's the ultimate goal, is to change, to be the way that he made you to be in perfection. This will never end. All right, that's all for this one.